Today on The Young and the Restless, Billy is taken off guard by both Chelsea and Victoria. Nick confronts Cameron, and Nate and Victoria go official. At Crimson Lights, Billy is talking but Chelsea's distracted. She tells him the numbers came out for their soft rollout. I have the lowest user numbers for my game, it's a dud. Billy tries to buoy her up and asks her out for dinner. Chelsea resists. Billy wonders if he did something wrong. Chelsea says no, but he's taking her out to eat for the wrong reasons. He's trying to distract her from her worries. He's trying to save her again. Billy promises to leave his cape at home. Chelsea admits she and her therapist have been discussing how they bonded when he saved her. Perhaps because of that he feels he has to keep saving her. Billy is confused. Chelsea says, "You've been amazing, but it's not your job to fix me." Nikki joins Victor at Society and tells him she just checked on Sharon and Faith, and she's beyond upset. That human garbage poisoned the cat. Victor's aware of it and assures her Cameron Kirsten will be taken care of. Nikki complains that Nicholas isn't answering his phone. She's worried that he'll take things into his own hands again. She knows his history with that maniac. Victor says a man will do what he feels he must to protect his family. Nikki worries if Nick find him, he'll lead with his fists and not his head. Victor says, good. He'll be there to back him up if need be. Nick walks into the GCAC and heads upstairs past Daniel, who warns Lily that things with his mother and sister are about to explode. Upstairs, Nick pounds on Cameron's door and hollers at him to open up. Cameron lets him in and scoffs about Nick being there to teach him a lesson. You are painfully predictable. Downstairs, Daniel informs Lily he hasn't been honest because he didn't want to risk implicating her. Lily has a meeting to go to. Daniel vows to tell her everything later. She assures him, I'm here for you, okay? At Newman Enterprises, Victoria questions Audra, who claims to have better knowledge of the reason Victor wants to have a drink with Nate than she does. Audra says it's not a competition, but she has an explanation. She spoke to Victor after they headed up to the corporate suite to look for that file. Victor was inquisitive about their working relationship. She's sure he wants to congratulate Nate after the glowing report she gave. Victoria sarcastically says that's exactly the kind of gesture her father is known for. Audra sachets out and Nate tells Victoria that was Audra's not-so-subtle way of letting them know her father saw them come down from the suite together. Victoria chuckles, no kidding. So what if he did? Nate wonders if Victor is about to test the new guy in his daughter's life. Victoria thinks her dad is taking him seriously, which is a good sign. In Cameron's suite, he denies having any knowledge of the dead cat and tells Nick he's there for one reason, and one reason only, Sharon. Nick snarls, oh, you're going to stay away from her. Cameron says, not your call. You're not married anymore. She's fair game. Nick says she despises him. Cameron thinks she's warming up to him already. Nick shoves him and warns that the cops are watching him, and if he so much as smiles at Sharon or Faith, they'll haul him back to jail. Cameron has the parole board on his side, and says Sharon's just as beautiful as the day he met her. You are not going to stand between us this time. Nick grabs him by the shirt and Cameron goads him, do it. Hit me. Nick punches the wall beside him and warns, next time it will be for real. Cameron laughs. At the coffee house, Billy wonders if Chelsea feels like he has a need to play hero. Chelsea insists he's not doing anything wrong, but it bothers her that when something's bothering her, his instinct is to distract her. Billy wants to see her happy. Chelsea says he has to trust that if she's having an unhappy thought she can handle it. If she can't, she'll talk to him about it. Billy assures her he's not dodging, that he has to go meet Victoria. As he leaves, Daniel arrives. He muses that it's been a hell of a day already. Chelsea guesses the reason is my game is a flop. Daniel is dealing with personal issues. Chelsea recalls he's still grieving his mom and apologizes for making it about herself. They discuss the soft launch numbers not being through the roof, but Daniel tells her people are pointing to her tool online as a positive way to deal with anxiety. He shows her the comments, and she realizes they're actually helping people. Daniel tells her that's worth a hell of a lot more than numbers. In the Newman office, Nate assures Victoria he's not worried about one-on-one time with her father. Victoria finds it sexy that this doesn't throw him. Nate muses about the possibilities seeming endless these days. He has her to thank for it. They make out. Victoria says she has to a meeting and Nate wonders if he should tag along. Vicky says it's personal and not business. She invites him to use the office while she's gone. Once alone, Nate eyes up the CEO chair and sits in it, smiling to himself. Audra reappears and muses. Well, you don't seem to be wasting any time, are you? She finds the fact that he and Victoria ever get any work done to be impressive. In the park, Billy runs into Lily, and they chat about their weird double date with the kids. He asks how she and Daniel are doing. She says, slow and steady. Billy says he and Chelsea are the same but maybe a bit wobblier. Lily learns he's fixing problems he hasn't been asked to. She says he'll have to find a balance between saving the world and falling apart. In Cameron's suite, Nick orders him to check out of the hotel and leave town. Cameron tells Nick he's not hearing him. You're going to have to drag me out of here in a bag. I've got things to do, women to seduce. And guess what? I'm free to do that. I have broken no law. Nick complains, you've been harassing Sharon since you got here. Cameron protests that he's only seen her once. Nick knows exactly what his intentions are and warns, you are going to stay away from Sharon and Faith, and you will be gone by the morning. Cameron grits, or what? Nick fumes, you don't want to find out. With that, he walks out the door. At the GCAC, Billy and Victoria meet about the kids in summer camp. Victoria informs him that the kids both want to go to boarding school. Billy muses about people not needing him anymore. He says, you know how I feel about boarding school. Victoria says this is about them and his experiences don't apply here. Billy supposes they can visit often and it's a great place for them to hone their passions. Victoria is enthusiastic about it and Billy wonders if her outlook has to do with her budding relationship with Nate. Victoria hopes he's not implying she wants to ship the kids off so she's free to date. That would be stupid. Billy apologizes. Earlier today he got chastised for doing what he thought was the right thing to do, and now he's taking it out on her. Victoria's not sending the kids away, she's letting them go. I want to give them that. Billy agrees it will be hard, but it's the right thing to do for them. Victoria feels they have to give them space and be their safety net if they need them. At Crimson Lights, Daniel and Chelsea continued to talk about their game and change taking time. She turned her struggles into something positive. Omavisphere. Chelsea notes he took a chance on her when not many would have. He's a good guy. Nick joins his parents at society and tells them Cameron is staying at the athletic club. He didn't touch a hair on his head, but the wall wasn't so lucky. Nikki worries about his hand. She steps away to take a work call and Nick asks Victor about the security guard who had his uniform stolen. Victor says he fired his ass. He gets a text about his drink with Nate. Nick questions his father having time to socialize with an opportunist while the family is dealing with a stalker. Victor counters that he's involved with an opportunist and calls Sally Spectra a millstone around his neck. Especially now that she's pregnant with your brother's child. Nick fumes that Cameron is a threat to their family and he's wasting time taking shots at Sally. Victor intones that Cameron will be taken care of but Sally will be a part of their family forever now. In the park, Daniel pulls Lily into an embrace. He tells her he spoke to Chelsea about the initial response to her game. Lily will talk to her too. She asks what's going on with Phyllis and Summer. Daniel warns it will compromise them both, so if she doesn't want to hear it, that's okay. Lily wants him to talk to her, so he tells her that his mother is hiding out in a room at the athletic club and that the cops don't know. At Crimson Lights, Chelsea tells Billy that Connor's teacher says he's shutting down at school. He asks if she wants advice or just to vent. She kisses him and thanks him for trusting her to handle it. She'll talk to Connor tonight. Thank you for helping, you listened. Now let me return the favor. What can I do for you? Billy admits he's knocked off his game. The kids want to go to boarding school next fall. They don't need him in the same way anymore. Chelsea asks, do you want advice, reassurance, or just to vent? They head off to talk. At Newman, Nate warns Audra she shouldn't talk about her bosses like that at the office. Audra isn't about to pretend she doesn't know what's going on. He warns her about being so blatant around Victoria. Audra thinks she likes having a sparring partner and respects her as someone who speaks her mind. She's sure she'll let her take over the media division when she promotes him. They discuss ways to impress Victoria. Audra wants to get back to Victor's drink invitation and warns that he's on to Nate. You don't want him thinking that you're slacking on the job and encouraging Victoria to do the same. Nate shrugs that Victor doesn't strike him as a clock watcher. They agree Nick is a bigger threat and he won't back off easily. At society, Nick complains about Victor being fixated on a pregnant woman who has done nothing to him. He needs to be focused on Cameron Kirsten. Victor will deal with that bastard, but he needs to forget about Sally and start paying attention to Sharon and Faith, who really need him. Nick informs his father he's had it up to here with his judgment and walks out. Nikki returns and Victor tells her their son is spread too thin. Nikki just doesn't want his temper to get him into trouble. Victoria returns to the office and tells Nate she and Billy almost got into an argument. He made a jab that got under her skin. Nate suspects it was about him. Victoria says it was more the idea of them. What they have is confusing to people. They can't categorize it, so they don't understand it. Nate gets it. Maybe we should make it official. He suggests they go on a date with dinner and dancing. Victoria beams, "You're on." In his suite, Cameron calls someone named Jimmy and says he has a job for him. This one's going to require a face-to-face. Bring your right hook, you're going to need it.